there was a lot of press coverage. It was really this myth in the press coverage as we were going into the election last year that somehow the Trump administration had badly strained our alliances in the Indo-Pacific region. It's nonsense. I've never seen an empirical fact produced to suggest that our alliances did anything other than strengthen over the course of the Trump administration. Our relationship with India has never been stronger. Secretary Pompeo, you led the first two ever cabinet level meetings of the Quad. The relationship with Vietnam, Vietnamese officials told me regularly that the relationship had never been better. Taiwan, officials in Taiwan have told me the same thing. Career officers in Australia, and most of all in Japan. And I'll just leave you with one point. Some of the key pillars of our strategy in the Indo-Pacific region were ideas that we borrowed and adapted and shared and collaborated on with Japan. So the whole idea of a quadrilateral format is an idea that Prime Minister Abe came up with during his first stint as prime minister. He was the longest serving prime minister in Japanese history. And that was an early idea that he got to see reach fruition before he stepped down. The idea of a free and open Indo-Pacific, that concept, that catchphrase, we consciously adopted it and adapted it from the minds of our closest allies in Japan. That was a phrase that Prime Minister Abe was using first. So that's a sign of a partnership that is evolved in ways that are going to allow us as equal partners. Of course, with the United States still providing the majority of the defense, but we want to see Japan step up and spend more and more on their defense in order to forestall the sort of catastrophe that PLA Air Force manual describes. There's a saying in the Japanese military that Taiwan's defense is Japan's defense. And I think that Japan will act accordingly. And there's, the People's Liberation Army Air Force that your brother-in-law's, flying and seeing up there in the skies over the East China Sea and throughout the Western Pacific. There's a manual that PLA Air Force officers are issued that explains why Taiwan is so important as a target to be annexed by the Communist Party, and it's all about Japan. And if you read the excerpt of that manual, it basically says that China is going to take Taiwan in order to render Japan unable to wage war, unable to even defend itself, unable to even supply itself. That if Taiwan were taken, basically China would be able to dominate the region and render Japan irrelevant.